Hey everyone, we're going to go through my top 3 and my bottom 3 reads of 2024. In 2024, I read 22 books and I'm in 2 currently, so I'm planning to finish those before the end of the year. So, actually, I'm planning to finish them this weekend. So then it would be 24 books. So let's start with the negative so we can end on the positive. My least favorites in 2024, I don't know if I'll put these in order. I don't think I'll put them in order, just my bottom 3. The first one is Wizards of Earthsea. This one was really hard to get through, even though it's so short, it took me quite a while. And this was at the beginning of the year too, and I still remember that just her writing style was not my favorite. And that just the traveling was always very cumbersome and those kinds of things. So I didn't like it. It was still a good story. I did like the story, but I didn't like how it was told, basically. So I haven't continued with this series, even though I do want to sometime. It's just really hard when you don't like book 1 to make yourself continue. The next one is one that I don't remember too well, which kind of tells you a lot as well, is the Andromeda Strain. I don't like, it upsets me that Crichton made the bottom 3, but like I remember not liking this book that much. This one was a lot more science-y than his other works, even though all of his works have some elements of science in them. I remember this one not being as good, though there were great parts in it. And again, it's Crichton. The worst Crichton is still better than a lot of authors. So if I had to rank them, this would be the least bad of the 3, if that makes sense. And then Crossroads of Twilight. I knew going into this book that fans don't normally like Crossroads of Twilight's in the Wheel of Time. Of the 15 books, this is almost always everyone's least favorite. So what I did was I just audiobooked it at 1.5 speed so I could get through it quick. There were a couple of fun moments in this book, but most of it was boring, and most of it, nothing really happened. And the biggest reason why this is the lowest is because the story, everyone's storyline wasn't really moved forward, if that makes sense. There wasn't a lot of progress in this book, which is, I don't know, 600 something pages, and not a lot happened. So that's why I audiobooked it, and because I audiobooked it and I went pretty quick through it, it wasn't as bad for me, because I just like quickly got through it. But there were some fun things in it. Again, none of these 3 are like terrible books. They're all like just bad for what I read. Honestly, if I read a terrible book, I don't finish it. I just DNF it. So the fact that I finished these 3 tells you they're really not bad books. They're just worse in the 24 of this year. So now I get to be positive, which is more my style. I'm so happy. So I'm going to be positive now. These are my top 3 books. Now, it's kind of hard to judge because Wheel of Time and Crichton are kind of always at the top. So I actually kind of tried to not pick a Wheel of Time or Crichton. So Knife of Dreams in the Wheel of Time series should probably be in this. And then Crichton, I'm trying to think, I actually didn't read too much Crichton this year, but I reread Jurassic Park, and that's always going to be on the top, so I just tried to not pick those. But if I had a 4th, I would put Knife of Dreams, and Jurassic Park's a reread though, so it probably shouldn't count. None of these are rereads. So first, again, no particular order. First, Guards. So this one was just so much fun, and I loved it, and I loved the romance in it. I loved the comedy in it. Terry Pratchett's a master. He has really great books. I've only read like 1 book that was hard to get through with the Discworld. I don't even remember which one that was. So he's amazing, and this is where a lot of Discworld fans tell people to start, And I agree. I think this would be a great place to start in Discworld. So I loved it. It was so much fun. I cannot wait to start the second one in this little mini series. Is called Men at Arms. I'm really excited to start it. So yeah, Guards was great. I really enjoyed every minute of it. The next one's kind of funny because I read it during the same time as Wizards of Earthsea. And I remember this was in January, so this was almost a year ago. I remember like not picking up Wizards of Earthsea because I was also reading this book. And this book is really hard to put down. So this one is like a fantasy horror. And I had no idea because Neil Gaiman, I've heard Neil Gaiman like coupled with Terry Pratchett. Oop, that's upside down. I've heard these two people coupled together. So to me, that makes me think comedy. This is not a comedy. This is horror fantasy, which is crazy that I liked it. It was so much fun. It was hard, but I loved it. It was so hard to put down. It was amazing. I loved it so much. So I really liked it a lot. Yeah, it was great. It was creepy. It was fun. It had a really interesting ending. It had interesting world building. So yeah, this was a great book. And then I think nobody is surprised. This, I think if I had to rank them, this would be my number one of the year. This one is about C.S. Lewis and his life, and it caused me to change my entire TBR for the rest of the year. So I think if a book makes you change your entire TBR for the rest of the year, you have to put it as number one. That's just like the rules, isn't it? So this book, yeah, it made me stop what I was doing and reread all the Narnia books, which I'm about to finish. I'm about to finish The Last Battle. So this is responsible for that. So it has to be number one, right? Like, that's the rules. So it's really, really good. The C.S. Lewis stuff is interesting, and it's interesting that I love this book so much because most of those stories I'd already heard. So that's how good this book is. And then the romance is really good. The family dynamics are really good. The sad parts are really sad but beautiful at the same time. So yeah, this was definitely worthy of that like top spot. So yeah, these three were amazing books this year, and I hope you'll join me for 2025. My next video should be my plans for next year, which I just finished filming. And then I need to do The Last Battle, which I think I'm going to probably post first, just so that everything's all together with all the Narnia stuff. So I need to post The Last Battle, and then that'll be it for this year. And then I'm going to start, the next book I'm going to start is Hogfather, which is Discworld. It's a Discworld book, and it's about Christmas. So, because like Hogfather is like their Santa Claus, as far as I know. Obviously, I'm not a Discworld person. I'm just starting. So my plan is to read that over Christmas and hopefully finish by the end of the year. Then I'll have 25 books for this year, which is really low for me, but it's also been a really hard year. So hopefully next year I'll read more than 30 books. That was my plan, but hopefully I'll read more than 30 books next year. All right. I hope you have a great day. Go ahead and comment below what your favorite and least favorite books of this year was. I love watching these kinds of videos, so I hope you enjoyed mine as well. And let me know what you thought of my books. Maybe one of my least favorites were one of your favorites. That would be hilarious. I would really like to hear that. So yeah, I hope to see you soon in 2025. Bye.